Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 386. The title of today's lesson is the difference between overtime as a single word and overtime as two words. Now, really, overtime is a single word, but sometimes you get the connection of the word over and time together. So a lot of times, especially students of ESL, sometimes might get confused about this. So anyway, let's take a look at, overtime as a noun first. Let's look at the note here. Overtime as a noun has three meanings and uses. First one is the extra hours that a person works at their job, especially if one is paid by the hour. Yeah, if you don't get paid by the hour, if you get paid monthly, you might not get paid more for the overtime that you're putting in. Or I guess technically you are putting in the overtime, if your boss asks you to stay later, but again, you may not see a difference in your paycheck. If you're paid by the hour, you definitely will. Okay. All right, so let's look at a couple of examples here. All this overtime is wearing me out. Well, you could say that, meaning all those hours, those extra hours you're working, maybe it's making the person really tired. Okay, maybe it's the busy season. Maybe the boss still wants him to work all that time. All right, number two here, the second one. I put in a lot of overtime this week. So again, this is in reference to the hours. Again, still a single word. Or overtime pays time and a half. Yeah, usually in the U.S., that's the way they do it. So whatever your full-time is, your regular pay, you get an extra half. So I think in the U.S., if you work over 40 hours a week, let's say, for example, you earn $10 an hour. So every hour over 40 hours, usually you will earn time and a half. So you'll actually earn $15 an hour for every hour that's above the normal 40 hours. That's what they mean. Okay, let's look at the second meaning as a noun. The money that a person is paid for the extra hours that one works. Okay, good. So I earned a lot of overtime this week. So in this way, you're really referring to the money you're getting for it. Or number two, or the second one we have here, the extra overtime I did this week should add a lot to my paycheck. Okay, so all of these so far is overtime as a single word. And the third example here, the period of time in which play continues if, two teams or players are tied at the end of the usual time for the game. Yeah, especially games that run on a clock. So we don't usually say this in baseball, for example. That doesn't run by a clock. You would say extra innings. You don't say baseball is going into overtime. You say baseball is going into extra innings. But other sports where they do run by a clock, it's like set. This is the time it's supposed to end. And if right at that moment that it ends, the two teams just happen to be tied, they might have to go into overtime to decide a winner. So in that case, again, we still use overtime as a single word. Okay, and just a few examples. Because there was a tie, we had to go into overtime. Okay. Or that basketball game went into overtime. So any sort of sport or competition that runs by clock, and, if they allow it to go later than that to break a tie, then they're going into overtime. Okay, now, we do have one use of overtime here as an adverb, too. So we often hear that. I have to work overtime. So here it's modifying work. I have to work overtime. That's still a single word today. So I have to work overtime today. All right, now, finally, we get to overtime as two words. So if we see overtime as two words, it simply means as the time passes or as the time had passed, of course, if it's already in the past tense. So over time, his skills improved as he practiced. So as time passed, his skills improved. So in this case, overtime is two words, as the time goes by. The traction on your tires will wear out over time. So as the time goes by, the traction, the rubber on the bottom of the tires will wear out. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.